Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to end a video, and this is a paid request for Walter. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting type of videos, whether it be a topic, reaction, commentary, review, re-review, random thoughts, commentaries, reactions, whatever the case may be, I'll get to it as soon as I can. PayPal is usually the best bet. I do have a CashApp and Patreon, just people have asked about those. Feel free, links are down below in the info box. If so, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'll get to it as soon as I can. So Walter wanted me to react to another one of his rankings. In this case, Walter's rankings of every Stallone film, action film that he's seen, from least favorite to favorite. He has not seen every Stallone action movie, so we'll update this ranking in maybe 6 months with more films. Please read all notes in parentheses. I could do that. So these are the 11 action films of Stallone that he has seen, and he's ranking them. He wants my reaction to them. Now, before I look into it, listen, it's his opinion, it's his thoughts. Whatever happens, happens. We're all going to have different tier lists, different rankings, different thoughts. Just how it is. So his number 11 is Judge Dredd. The only movie on the list I don't like, although the villain was pretty decent, only saw it once. I mean, I can see that being low on the list. I'm not a big fan of Judge Dredd either. I can appreciate the production value. I can appreciate the musical score. I can appreciate the villain is Armand Assante, who says politics are boring. Like, he's fun, but I think there was a lot of stuff. It was a big missed opportunity. Stallone to be in a big budget R-rated action film that didn't go full force with the R rating because it wasn't their purpose. They wanted to have a different rating, but they ended up having it be R. So that's why it's an R rating, but it doesn't feel like an R-rated movie. That's why. Their intention was not to have an R-rated film. I kind of wish they would have embraced it, like Dredd or Carl Urban. They embraced that and then some, and it was very satisfying. It was very entertaining. Stallone, I'm not a fan of his performance. When he's very low pitch voice, like Cobra, I think it works well. That does work well. When he's in the helmet, he looks good. Great looking outfit, great looking costume. Corsatured. Death. Corsatured. I'm like, okay, that's badass. But then he takes the helmet off all the time, which is not part of the Judge Dredd character. There's times he's going very over the top and big melodramatic, like it's a Shakespearean play. I am the law. And bug-eyed and just being very, very over the top. Rob Schneider, I'm not a big fan of him. He works well in Demolition Man. He's in a tiny part in the backdrop, but to be the comedic sidekick, I don't think this needed a comedic sidekick. There was a partner in Dredd, but I thought that worked very well, and I think she played off of Dredd in a good back and forth. Here, Rob Schneider, I didn't think he was funny. Mr. I am the law. That's a film that does have its merits. It's not the worst Stallone film I've seen. I mean, I would rather watch that than Expendables 3, Expendables 4, Bat Trace, Escape Plane Trilogy. There's a lot of Spy Kids 3, The Italian Stallion. There's a lot of films I'd rather watch than Judge Dredd. So there's a part of me that's like, I could watch it as a time waster, but there's just enough elements that made me annoyed that the missed potential irks at me a bit. Number 10, Rambo Last Blood. Okay film. I can see that. Now, I don't like the film. I think it's a detriment to Rambo. I don't think Rambo felt or sounded like Rambo in that movie. He didn't look like Rambo. He cut his hair, and just his demeanor, his dialogue. Like, he talked more in that film than the first 4 Rambo films combined. But I would love, If there's a way, I'd love someone to add up every piece of dialogue he says in the first 4 Rambo films. At least the first 3. Do the first 3, then you need to add in the 4th one, because the 4th one he did have more dialogue, to be fair, to pair with the first 3. But this was like, I swear it was just more dialogue in this. And it's like, he didn't feel like Rambo, he didn't behave like Rambo. This is a guy who was tactical. When he was hunting the cops in the forest and the First Blood, or in the jungle in Rambo 2, and the cave system Rambo 3, he knew what he was doing. This, he just enters into a barrio in Mexico. And he gets his ass kicked. I'm like, what else did you expect? To see him kumbaya fucking ya with a bunch of tacos? Like, what the fuck did you expect? And one of my cats even annoyed by it. You heard him moan? If he didn't, then sorry. If you did, my cat's moaning in the one of my cats moaning is like, PTSD from watching this fucking film. And it's just annoying. I didn't care about the daughter or the daughter. It's not his daughter, but I'm also call him his daughter. I didn't care about her. Thought she was an idiot. Damn, it's scratchy at the door now. He really probably wants to kill me for talking about this film. Don't get away. But yeah, there's some nice violence in the third act, but sometimes it's like, that wasn't enough. You just say you enjoy that scene, I can see why. Although he does stuff, it's like he wastes all his bullets. I get that he's being angry and that's what, but at the same time I'm like, oh my god. Cat! I'm sorry I talk about Rambo Last Blood. Get away. Get away, cat. Get away. What are you doing? Well, come here then. If you want in so bad, come on. Come on. You want in so bad, come on. Guess we'll get his review of Last Blood. Sorry, just one of my cats just wanting to be in here. Okay, what's your review of Last Blood? Well, come on. You alright now? You alright? Alright. He's calmed down a bit. So as I was saying, now he's calmed down. Sorry, he's suffering PTSD from that film. I mean, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Don't worry, cat. Don't worry. It's all good. It's all good. But, like I said, there's some good violence in the third act of the film, but I'm not big on the movie. If you want to know why I did a review of the film, I went into all the aspects of what I didn't like and didn't care for. I can see why that's low on the list. It'd be low on my list if I'm doing Stallone film rankings. Is it the worst film he ever did? I didn't know. Spy Kids 3 is worse. The Italian Stallion is a worse film. But disappointing? As in, I didn't want to be another Rambo film. I didn't want a Rambo 5. I thought Rambo 4 ended it perfectly. And this kind of ruined that. With now, he's on his horse thinking he's fucking Roy Rogers. And he's going off, riding off to whatever the hell else. And his happy ending of Full Circle is now not anymore. I'm like, you had a perfect ending and you ruined it, Sly. Because you were mad that your films were going direct to video. You were mad that your films were going direct to video. You were upset about that. You wanted another film in the theater. You figure, okay, if it's not a Rocky film like Creed, sequels, it's going to be a Rambo film. And so you decide to do that, maybe for a quick paycheck as well, because there's no more story to tell. He went full circle. You proved it. You ended it on a bang, Rambo 4, but no, you had to keep going. You had to be a bit more greedy about it. So number 90 per Rambo 2. Good movie, not one of my favorites, but Stallone has some great moments. You know me, Rambo First Blood Part 2 is my favorite Stallone film. I think it's one of the quintessential action films of the 80s. I definitely disagree with this being number 9. I definitely disagree with some of the films ahead of it. Like, Expendables 3 is better than Rambo 2. I don't get that. To each their own. I don't get that at all. Because you put 8 Expendables 2, 7 Rambo 3, 6 Expendables 3. Mel Gibson is probably the second best villain on the list behind Wesley Snipes. 5 Rambo 4, 4 The Expendables, 3 Demolition Man, love, 2 First Blood, love, 1 Tango Cash, love. Now, Tango Cash being number 1, that's very cool, because I love Tango Cash. I think that's a classic. It's one of my favorite buddy cop films. I love the combination of Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone. There's so many great lines in that movie. I loved you, Conan the Barbarian. There's a lot of stuff I love about that film. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's action-packed. I think after we needed Jabba the Hutt here needs a visit. I'll bring the chainsaw. I'll bring the beer. There's a lot of fun moments in that movie. Like, I mean, what an ironic way that's the last movie to come out of the 80s, because it represents the 80s and what they are. It really does. It represents a lot of the 80s. What they were capable of, what they did. I do quite enjoy it. I think that's a very fun movie. Very fun film. Number 2, First Blood, makes sense. That's a classic movie. Number 3, Demolition Man. Love that film. The praises of that film I've sung many times. Oh, come on, cat. You cannot be in there by the TV. Come here. Come here. Do not be by the wire. Come on. Stop. Cat, come on. I know. Time for you to go. Goodbye. I'll just leave that all in just because it's just what I deal with these cats. Scratch at the door wanting to visit me. This is why I can't have them in here, because shush. No. But I guess it's better than them hating me, so. But I can't have them by the wires, because they'll keep rubbing on it and then pull something out, and I'd rather have them be pissed at me and then do that. So I'll keep this all in, fuck it. But yeah, Demolition Man, a great villain, Wesley Snipes. Love Wesley Snipes as a villain, as Simon Phoenix. Of course, very of note of what's going on today with all the political stuff and the PC culture and the cancel culture stuff and all that stuff. Like, you can't be too violent, you can't be too manly, you can't be too this and that, you gotta be more sensitive. Plus, it has some very good action set pieces and sequences. That building blown up in the beginning is fantastic. The finale action bit. Like I said, Wesley Snipes is a lot of fun. Definitely one of the best villains in a Stallone film. I'll agree with that. For the Expendables, cool to see that on the list and that high. I do like the first Expendables. It was a great theater experience. I wouldn't say I loved it as much as when I saw it in the theater. When I saw it in the theater, I'm like, this is the best movie ever. Nowadays, it's like, now that excitement has calmed down throughout the years. It's like, I like the film. It has its flaws. Too much CGI. That's not the best CGI. I don't care for some of the Expendables. Randy Couture, I don't give a fuck about him. I'm glad, yeah, I did. He's an MMA fighter. At least it was cool. I don't care about him and his cauliflower ear. Depending on which version you see, the fight between Dolph and Jet Li could have been filmed a bit better. Although the director's cut it does look like a better fight. Like, it's put together well. But it was like cool to see those two go at it. But I think the theatrical cut, it could have been edited a bit better. Cool to see Eric Roberts in there. Cool to see all these guys together. It's still my favorite Expendables film. I think it's the only good one. I would not put it above some of these other films, though. Like Rambo 4 is number 5. I like the Expendables, but I do not think it's better than Rambo 4. But Rambo 4 is still in the theater, love it. Yes, it has some CG, but there's a lot of good gore, there's a lot of good brutality, there's a lot of great lines. Live for nothing, or die for something. Or, when you're pushed, killing's as easy as breathing. Villains, you just were dire, evil excuses of human beings. You just want to see their comeuppance. The whole 50 caliber massacre of an ending is so visceral and just gnarly. That's just so fulfilling, satisfyingly fulfilling as an action fan. Rambo 3 is number 7. I'm glad that's on the list. I do like that film quite a bit. I think it's one of Stallone's more underrated films. Like, the 3 I disagree with the most is Rambo 2 being number 9, and Expendables 3 and 2 being number 6 and 8. I don't see how Expendables 3 is better than Rambo 3. I do not see how Expendables 3 is better than Rambo 2. I do not see that. Mel Gibson does a good job, I'll give you that. But the action is PG-13, watered down, wannabe Fast and Furious, with a lot of lame, awful, new cast members. Like, if you look at the cast of this movie, and people are having fun outside, if you heard that. Yeah! Or they're, they want to riot. I'm going to talk about this movie. Antonio Banderas, I liked Antonio Banderas, but his character would not shut the hell up, and he became very annoying in the movie. Jet Li, he's in the film, but he has nothing to do. Wesley Snipes, it's cool that he's in it, but they really dropped the ball on his character. They let him play with knives, which Jason Statham already played with knives, so all he did was do the same thing that Jason Statham did, playing with knives. So they didn't give him much uniqueness to his character. Dolph Lundgren is treated more as a joke, treated as nothing. I can't remember one damn thing Dolph Lundgren does in Expendables 3. Kelsey Grammer was fun to see, but Randy Couture, he's still irritating as fuck. Like, I don't care about him. Terry Crews, he just shot in the ass and he leaves the movie. Well, I just, by this point, left the franchise now. Talon Lutz, who gives a shit about him? He was uncharismatic, he was uninteresting, he did not fit this film at all, there's no reason he should have been in it. Ronda Rousey, I'm sorry, her damn fat-ass mole has more personality than her. She did nothing for me, she can't act, she's a crybaby, she's a whiny bitch, and fuck Ronda Rousey. Glenn Powell, he was the hacker, the climber. He climbed a fucking wall. Yay. And now he was in Top Gun Maverick and the new Twister movie and Draw Me in the Running Man. Now he's getting all these roles. He did nothing in that movie but climbed. Victor Ortiz. Don't give a shit about Victor Ortiz. I'm glad you're a welterweight. I don't care. You did nothing in the movie. Robert Davi, Nice to see Robert Davi, but given a very nothing role. Mel Gibson was good. Harrison Ford, he was good. I like those two. Arnold, just there to kind of be at the background, hang out with Jet Li a bit. Make it seem like him and Jet Li were going to be a couple and fuck each other's brains out. I hate Expendables 3. That's an awful movie. And how is that? Can someone explain to me how Expendables 3 is better than Rambo 2 and Rambo 3? How? It's his opinion, it's his list, I know. But Expendables 2 and... I don't think Expendables 3 is better than Rambo 2 and 3. I don't see that at all. But teach their own. But, I mean, it's his list. I think, for me, Rambo 2 is too low. Expendables 3 is way too high. I think Judge Dredd is better than Expendables 3. Cool to see Tango Cash up there get some love. Demolition Man get some love. I agree with that. I appreciate that. So, what all I can say is, Expendables 2, I don't... Lame movie. Cool to see Chuck Norris, but they give stupid-ass Chuck Norris fats that were tired even by the point that movie came out. Van Damme, was cool to see him, but he had a lousy fight at the end that was so disappointing. Jason Statham, Scott Adkins had a fight, and that was so disappointing. Expendables 2 was just one giant disappointment. I mean, it's better than Expendables 3. So I don't even know how Expendables 3 is better than the second one, and I don't think the second one's that great. But Expendables 3 just try to be a Fast and Furious with a lot of nothing, no talented people involved as replacing the Expendables cast. So, like, who is this for? It was for nobody. That's why it bombed. And the fourth one was the worst one. So, yeah. Rambo 2 and 3, I think, should be higher. Expendables 2 and 3, I think, should be lower. But again, nice to see Tango and Cash and Demolition Man get some love. Again, it's his opinion. It's his list. Definitely some stuff I disagree with, but... To be fair, he says Judge Dredd is the only movie on this list he doesn't like. But again, I'd rather watch that than Expendables 3. So, I disagree with that as well. But, either way, thank you. I appreciate the request. Sorry about the cat interruption, but he seemed to stop for a bit. So, he wanted a bit of loving, a little bit of petting, go on his merry way. So, there you go. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. See ya later in the next video. Bye-bye for now.